All right, welcome back. And as always, each week, we're very fortunate to have our chairman of the Terrebonne Parish Council, Darrin Guidry, join us to go over the agenda, to let you and the public know what's taking place here in the parish, and to invite your input, certainly, and go to the meetings and have some input. So certainly, Darrin, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you, Martin, and thank you always for having us.
No problem. Let's jump right in. There's a few interesting things. I know that the agendas, and of course the committees and the regular agenda on Wednesday, one of them I saw in there was a bike path.
Correct. This is a 12-foot wide multi-use pathway, bike path, which is going to go from the Civic Center to the sports park and then continue on thereafter. We began the engineering with Milford and Associates about a month ago, which will go from the trailhead, which is the area near Cottage Drive, to the sports park. And at our meeting tonight, we will assign the engineer, Providence Engineers, which will do the Civic Center, to the trailhead piece, and it'll be, and so the entire thing is Civic Center to the sports park, and the Civic Center to trailhead part will be paid for with state dollars, at least 80% of it, with a 20% match. So tonight we're approving the contract for Providence Engineers to begin the design on that. We're hoping to, on both segments, to begin the construction next year.
I saw that was on 8. Is that the budgeting for that? Is the
Yes, we have the contract on our Public Service Committee meeting, and on our Budget and Finance Committee, we'll move $68,000, which is the state portion, together with our match, and that will pay for the engineering on that piece. And then, of course, we'll be moving more state dollars and local to finish the construction on it next year.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people excited. One of my good buddies, Mike Barker, who's a bike enthusiast. They ride all over. And every time they come up with bike paths, it makes a large number of people very happy because they exercise a little more than I do, to be honest with you. But so that's the feel-good stuff that the parish really has been waiting to go in, and it's starting to happen, isn't it?
That's exactly true. 7 years ago, when I got elected, this the very first thing I began is to create an off-road bike path along Valhalla. This is now the fruits are we're just seeing the fruits of planting the tree 7 years ago. We're finally getting to construction now. I'm trying to work on a betterment, which is going to go from the Civic Center to Barataria Boulevard, and then Barataria, which is a very wide road, will just have to be restriped, and we have a bike lane that can take us all the way down to the bus depot, into downtown.
Very good. What other kind of things are y'all having in your budget and finance, and I think you have a public services committee meeting also, before we get to the regular agenda? Anything else on that we need to talk about?
All the rest are some general sale of adjudicated properties and things that are, change orders, and we have a few things like that on our committee meetings.
Okay. Well, let's jump to the regular business at hand on Wednesday. What would you like to start off with and what's going on Wednesday?
Well, I do want to highlight on Wednesday that we are going to be taking a property which some people call the Leveron Street Park, some call it Roseanne's Park, but it's the one behind Popeyes on Tono Boulevard. That park, we're actually doing a drainage project which helps your friends Barker out as part of the Bayou La Carpe drainage system. It also helps that Tono Boulevard area by Popeyes that always floods. We have some images, of that particular drainage, but you see that's kind of the general area where, where it goes. But we dug a big retention pond by Popeye's Fried Chicken, but then we have to get that, to the bayou, and we'll have to go across the park. So as you see there, that's behind Popeye's, going across Roseanne's or Leveron Street Park. And so in getting the right-of-way, we realized we didn't own the park, that the park was just being used, and that we actually contacted the landowners, and they've agreed to donate the park to the parish So we will be able to transfer that into the parish name.
I never realized the parish didn't own that.
You know, I don't think any of us kind of realize that because it's kind of historic and was there. And I don't think the rec district realized it. So those images that you received, I received those today from the engineer. I'm going to forward those on to the rec district because I want to make sure the rec district's not they are planning to do some expansions to all of their parks. That's Rec 2-3. And I want to make sure that, that they coordinate. And let me say, I'm working closely together with Councilman Carl Harding because this borders our districts. One side of Leveron is Carl's, one side is mine. And so Carl and I have been working very, very closely together on this, as well as helping have improvements to Roseanne's Leveron Street Park and also Dumas, which is across the street. So, you know,
And that brings all the water down by 311 into Bayou Black at that area, right?
Correct. It brings it all into Bayou Black, and we've done, you know, some moves already on the pump stations and things, but this is one little piece. We didn't realize we didn't own this property until we started, you know, putting together the right-of-ways. That's it.
Yeah, surprise. Always a few surprises, but that's going to help that general area. I remember, it's not long ago, every time it would rain hard, that place would flood. So that's going to really alleviate some major headaches in that whole area.
No doubt. And again, the Recreation District is planning some improvements to that park, which is a beautiful park with oak trees. It has a little walk track. You know, if you ever get a chance, go behind Popeyes and see that park.
Yeah, I've been asked about repeatedly, and I'm trying to explain to people there's a difference between a parish highway and a state highway. I was even in vehicles with people before, and they're going, look at this, man, this is irresponsible that the grass is not cut, and you need to tell Gordy. And I'm going, okay, if it was a parish highway, I could tell Gordy, but we're actually on a state highway. There's a big difference. So are you hearing a lot of that?
I hear a lot of it. I get tons of phone calls about the quality of our roads, and when I ask them, what road are you speaking of, almost always it's a state highway. And so if the road you're speaking about has an LA in front of it, that means it's a state highway. However, we have streets that we call by names, such as Main Street, Park Street, and Park and Main are state highways. It's actually,
So is Barrow, huh?
It's LA 24. Barrow Street is LA Highway 182. Then you have Lafayette Street is actually a state highway. Parts of St. Charles Street is a state highway. Hollywood, part of Hollywood Road is a state highway. And people don't realize that. But all of Main and Park, one of the biggest problems we have with grass is in the Schriever area, where it's really, really tall. They started cutting some of it, but then when they cut the grass, it has all kind of garbage that has collected in the long grass. And so then it becomes a garbage problem. As I see the state cutting it, they don't tell us where they're going to cut. But when I see them out there cutting it, I call Clay Knockan, our solid waste department head, and he sends, he'll send trustees or something if he can immediately to go pick up the trash.
And the other thing I notice is some of us who own property on Bayou Black, and we have the Pachur across the street, we maintain our own property. And then people asked me the other day, well, I wish the neighbors would maintain their Pachur across the street. And I correct them there too. Not everybody owns across the street. A lot of that is the state that owns across the street. So it's really a double-edged sword. And look, over the years, I will make a phone call to somebody if they're really neglecting their duties. But the parish is getting beaten up quite a bit about state property. And I don't know how many times they come out there and cut the grass, but they need to cut it a lot more.
No doubt, and we've worked with them to take over Tunnel Boulevard, some areas of Schriever Overpass, some areas of Prospect. We took over. I'm trying to get the intersections of Highway 90 at 311, Main and Park, Bayou Blue, those three intersections to see if we can take them over. Definitely 311, Main and Park. However, the state issues a contract for all of Highway 90, which includes those areas. And that was done at the beginning of the year for the whole year. So I'm trying next year to see if they can pull those out, pay us separately, whatever they would pay the contractor, and then we will pay the difference to make sure that those areas are cut 36 times a year rather than 4 times.
All right, and Jen is telling us she has a picture, so let's bring that up, and you might want to comment. On it.
Pretty much almost all the white roads you see are state highways. And, and they include, like I said, of course, Highway 311, Highway 182, those are state highways. The Bayou Blue Road, as well as areas 315 to Dularge, 56 to Chauvin. You also have, you're not showing here, but 665 to Pointe-à-Chat is also a state highway.
That's our spaghetti model, Darrin, right?
That's it. And the Burglar Rose Highway, of course, 24 in Berg, 56, which is not showing here, 659. Tunnel Boulevard, Martin Luther King.
Right, no doubt.
That's a state highway.
All right, we're going to stay on that because come on, state, we got to get y'all out here to take care of some of this grass. Real quick, 2 minutes left. The Buquet Bridge. I know that was a bit of a little faux pas. To me, nothing earth-shattering, but I want to give you a chance to set the record straight.
As chairman of the council, I've been working very, very closely with our parish president to try to do something about the Buquet Bridge, which is, a big issue out in the Dulac area. And we do have on our agenda a public hearing to move some money for the Brady Road Bridge, which, when I was looking over my agendas, I mistakenly thought we were moving money for the Buquet Bridge and got excited. But that is, that will be coming. We have hired Huval and Associates out of Lafayette for the engineering on that project. I'm hoping today is Monday. By our Wednesday meeting, hopefully we will have a price and an idea of what we could do temporarily in that area. And then we got to go to FEMA to get that approval. We also should have any day now, we're hoping for the approval of FEMA that is over 50% damaged, which means we would engineer a replacement for the bridge. That's what's been the holdup. Do we replace the bridge or do we repair it? Our engineers believe that this is the bridge before it was damaged, but both the receiving structure as well as the bridge itself are damaged. So, we need to replace the bridge. Engineers think it needs to be replaced. We're trying to get FEMA to okay that, and we're waiting on final inspections, and hopefully within the next month we'll get that. Then we can begin engineering the replacement bridge. But in the meantime, we have to have a temporary measure, and that's what Huval and Associates, together with Royal, our consultants, are going to do.
All right, well, Darrin, thank you so much for visiting with us once again. Let me let the audience know. Wednesday, your council meeting, there's committee meetings during the week. Wednesday is the council meeting, same time, same place, up on the second floor. So every time Darrin comes, we'll get more information for you. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Don't go away.